So we're on to page 9, which is the valve setting. With all of the reverser in position, we've cleared the decks a bit, made a bit of room, because we're going to be rolling and setting these valves. You will need the appropriate Allen key to fit these. And Andy's going to run through the sequence with us.
So we've started off by putting the reverser in its mid-gear position, and we should get just the minimum amount of movement out of the valve. And we're trying to centralise the valve. So at this one, you can see the port down there. Well, at the moment, the valve wants to go that way to cover that port a bit more. So just loosen off the grub screws. Don't think that is the right Allen key.
Isn't it? After all that, my apologies.
No, it's not that one either.
Okay, first things first, get your right Allen key. Okay, so we've got a good Allen key now. We shall carry on. And what
So loosen
Andy's
that collar.
doing is centralising this valve.
So just moving it so it's just a line showing on that port opening. Run the valves back up. And when we come to back dead centre, it should be just a line showing the other end of the valve. So that's not too far off.
Okay, you're going to do one cylinder at a time?
Yes, we'll concentrate on one at a time. So put it in full forward gear, and when we push it forward, this valve is going too far. It should be just opening the valve, opening the port, and not more. So that one's actually going a bit too far. So we'll end up bringing him back again.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah.
I suppose the trick to this is just nip those grubs up so it holds the valve in position.
Yes. So now when we go forward, it's opening more or less equally. And you're getting a full port opening. And you can bring it back to a notch up position. There. And it should now open both ports a bit. There's that one. I'm not getting much on the back one. Try it in the other position. Yeah, so that could do with going forward a whisker.
Tiny little bit.
Yeah. Not much in it. You should get about half a port opening and half a port opening. And we'll have a look at reverse. So now we're going backwards. Yeah. Well, it's not very good, and I think the reason is because we need a little bit of packing in the axle box to bring the die block correct. See, at the moment, die block at the bottom has that gap. When you bring this to the bottom there, it's flush, so there's a discrepancy, and you can time it for forward and you won't get timing in reverse.
So shim.
We're going to put some shims in the back axle.
Okay. So what we've done is actually make a couple of spacers. We're going to get some laser cut spacers made so we can supply them with the kits. But you can you see the brass spacer? Which has gone underneath the rubber, below the keep. It's just going to readjust the height of that rear axle so that the die block's correct, so we can hopefully get the timing correct.
So what we're aiming for here is to get an equal throw on this die block either side of the centre line, So at top dead centre we've got about 1 millimetre on the clearance between the dye block and the holder, and we should have more or less the same on the bottom, and we're on bottom dead centre. If you haven't got that, you struggle to get the valve timing in both directions.
Okay, so it's a good opportunity. You haven't got too many items on the model. Good opportunity to turn it on its side, get under there and space that rear axle.
Yes. So we're getting a preliminary setting on the valve gear. I've got the reversing lever in mid gear, and I'm just checking that the valve should give like a hair's breadth of opening on each port, and that will centralise the valve, and then you can check it by going into forward gear and just seeing how much port opening you're getting. That's full port on the front, full port on the back, a whisker over at the back, and then pull it into reverse and see what you get with a full port on the front, not quite full on the back, but I think that's about as good as we're going to achieve at this stage of the game.
Okay, so we do the same on the other cylinder.
Yeah.
We'll carry on with the build.
Yeah, we can put the covers on shortly then. We've got the buffers to go on, and we've also got the brake gear. So we'll start off with the brake gear. There's the brake gear stand, goes through that hole there, and it has a special knurled nut. There's not enough room to get a conventional nut on, so that's got to go on that thread.
You're a little bit wonky there, Mr. P, you can't see it. There you go.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, go there.
There we go.
You're all good.
That's on. I'm going to tighten that up with a pair of pliers at a later date.
Okey-doke.
And the stand handle fits through there.
I see. A little bit of oil on that, do you think?
Yeah. That's what's a spot of oil.
Oh, that's good.
Right, that's that gone good and tight. And we've dropped in the actual brake handle.
You put a spot of oil on that. That was a bit stiff, wasn't it?
Yeah, just to
A little bit of oil.
make it a bit freer. And then the brake nut fits in to these two arms, and you line up the thread so that it engages. Not quite there yet. Put it around a little bit more. No, I don't think we're on it. I'm going to loosen those two off, just so that we've got a little bit of leeway there to get it started.
Yeah. You don't want to cross thread it, do you?
No. So we've just got to thread into the nut. There we are. And slacken off all of these so everything can align. Once we've got the brake linkage in place, we can tighten it all up again. And there's a split pin to go through the bottom there, so you don't unwind the handle right out.
Okay. So now the brake handle's all in place. The next thing is the buffers. Well, they're actually the same as the front one, so we've already done this before on the front. We know what the sequence is, we just screw those in. So you can get those 4 screws in. Not very easy to keep your hands inside, but you can do it. And the next thing, of course, is the plates on the outside. all in place. So next thing I'll do is cylinder covers. Yeah, we'll get those in place next.
So this is the steam chest covers being siliconed up, ready for fitting.
It's a bit of a delicate job. I don't want to get silicone all over this paintwork, so push it on. Obviously I've taken the retaining nuts off the top of the steam chests where we left it on the second video that we did, so we can get them down nice and flat. We've got these little nuts to go on.
And there's a couple of dummy lubricators that go in the top here, and they're pretty important because after a run you're going to need to take those out and put some oil in to keep the cylinders nice and clear, especially when they're new. Obviously you can't get rid of every last little drop of the water, and they will start to go rusty if you don't oil them, and that will then damage the O-rings in the pistons.
Yeah. What happens with the cast iron is it kind of gets seasoned. So as it gets more and more use and it gets more and more oil in it, the oil seeps into the surface of the cast iron. So you've got to get plenty of oil the first few times you use it, and then as it gets more seasoned, then actually it holds that oil, doesn't need it quite as much.
Yeah, it's not so much of a problem, but it's good practice to drop a bit of oil down there every time you run the loco.
Yeah. Once you've actually nipped up all of these screws, all of the silicone starts to squeeze out, and there's a couple of little tips on how to keep it clean. You want to get yourself nice, fresh, clean paper, and you just work upwards rather than down. Change your paper. Change your paper. If you work systematically like this, you won't get the silicone all over the place. So you're working up. And then the last little bit, just run along this edge. And there you go. Keeps everything nice and tidy.
Yeah, that's good.
It doesn't really matter if you've got a little bit of excess, because the valve's much lower than the top. Any excess around there will just sit and dry and harden. And if you take these plates off again, you can just chip away at it if you want to at a later date.
And there's a little dummy lubricators going on.
Nice.
And that's completed page 11.
Yep. Yeah, not quite the end of page 11. We missed out.
We've forgotten these two little dummy covers. On the full size, this covers the steam and exhaust pipes, but on the model, it's just for show. And we've got little 2mm hexagon heads to hold them on each side. And they're just screw in like so. That's the wrong size nut runner.
It's just here.
Yeah, no, they're all bigger ones.
Yep, and with the right tools, you could probably make this job about half the speed of a proper nut runner, but there we go. Final little bolts in place. I think when Andy's done that, we are on to the next stage, which means we get rid of this chassis and we start looking at the boiler.